Over the last 11 years, the Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires, has been developing drivers for the NTT IndyCar Series. Some tremendous talent, of course, coming through the ranks. You look, of course, at a Kyle Kirkwood, a Pato Award, Colton Herta, Renus VK, Jack Harvey. A number of drivers have worked their way into professional careers. They've all raced here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Hello, folks. My name's Rob Howden. Excited to wrap up a weekend here in USF Juniors. I mentioned the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, of course, USF 2000, Indy Pro, and Indy Lights. The USF Juniors, the inaugural program this year, the development program to send drivers, develop them to put them into USF 2000. And I know that we'll see a number of the drivers who are on track here this weekend at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, moving to USF 2000 next year. Fantastic series, and we have a championship starting to develop for sure. Last race here, coming up here within the next 20 minutes, is going to lead into two more events. A triple header at Road America, and then a triple header at the Circuit of the Americas in mid-September to find out which driver who will walk away with a scholarship worth over $220,000 to move next year into the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. Who will it be? Will it be Matt Clark, Alessandro DiTullio, Sam Corey, Nikita Johnson? Those four drivers kind of push themselves away from the field right now. But here this weekend, the most interesting thing, I think, is the fact that we've had different winners in the first three races of the season, the first three events. Every driver swept. At Ozarks, it was Matt Clark, the Canadian, sweeping the two races there. Kept that momentum going to Barber Motorsports Park just about 4 days later. Swept there at the track in Birmingham, Alabama as well. And then we moved to VIR, Virginia International Raceway, and VRD stepped up. But their one driver, Alessandro DiTullio, the rookie, very impressive, able to win all three races there. Had the broom out on the podium. Interesting thing, of course, we come here to Mid-Ohio. Who's it going to be? Is somebody else going to sweep? Sam Corey got off to a great start yesterday, scoring his first win, the 14-year-old victorious over Matt Clark in race number one, but he did not keep the sweep going. So two different winners on the weekend, both coming from VRD Racing. Alessandro DiTullio able to take advantage of a late race caution to find his way by Matt Clark, although Clark, who came in with a significant point lead, was able to pad it yesterday, finishing in front of DiTullio, just behind DiTullio in race two, although he did have the pole bonus, the 1 point bonus for leading the most laps, so didn't lose a lot in the championship battle. Four drivers coming in really with a mathematical chance of the title, pushing to potentially get down to three as we head, of course, to Road America at the end of July. The race here today should be a good one. Again, another 20-lapper for you here. The drivers in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series following their way into the paddock here at Mid-Ohio. They'll be on the racetrack this afternoon, but not before USF Juniors caps off the triple header. And again, we'll see Matt Clark starting on the pole position, that field set to do it all over again. Some drivers with some struggles in the back, hoping to kind of wrap up the weekend here with maybe a little bit of positivity and a little bit of success. Earlier today, it was 68 degrees here trackside, a lot of cloud cover. Drivers told me afterwards that the track was so slick, unpredictable. With the rains last night, they had no idea what the track was going to be like. They have their rubber down from one race. How will it be in race number three? We'll see that here momentarily. We're about 5 minutes away from the command to fire up the engines. The cars working their way down to pit lane here right now. 74 degrees trackside. We get back after this break. We'll introduce the drivers. All 18 set to go for race number three here at Mid-Ohio.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper! It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper Enduramaxes aren't just tough. They're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper. It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper. It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper and Duramaxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper.
Drivers have worked their way out of the pre-grid onto the pit lane here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course as we get set to roll here momentarily for the final race of this triple header in USF Juniors. Again, my name is Rob Howden. Thank you for tuning in to the USF Juniors app or potentially on the USF Juniors YouTube channel. There's the number 37 of Maddie Oust from Fort Worth, Texas for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport, her debut weekend here in USF. She'll start at the tail of the field. Behind her will be the number 24, I believe, of Earl Tucker. Row number 8, we'll see Jake Bonilla alongside Maxwell Jamison, his teammate. Bonilla in the number 19 machine. Bonilla out of San Antonio, Texas, starting 16th. Watch for him to attack pretty quickly, working his way forward. And then his teammate out of Houston, Maxwell Jamison for D-Force Racing, alongside him on row number 8. We'll go now to row number 7. And on the outside, driver worked his way actually up into the top 7 in the opening race. Alan Isambard out of Florida for International Motorsports in the number 53. Isambard will start in the 4th position. And then alongside Isambard for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports out of Prosper, Texas, that is Titus Sherlock in the number 31. Titus has had a rough weekend. Flat tire in race number 2, the bent wing in race number 1. He is looking forward to a clean race here to try to get all the way to the end. Right now, getting ready to fire things up down on pit lane. The command to fire up these engines coming here momentarily. Working our way up now to row number 6. Another top 10 for Quinn Armstrong, the Aussie, in the last race. The D-Force driver starting 12th. And on the inside, the driver right there for Sarah Fisher Hartman Driver Development. That is Elliot Cox, the Chick-fil-A machine, number 67, out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Moving now into row number 5, the top 10. Great qualifying effort for Ethan Barker, the family team, Barker Motorsports. His second second weekend here. Started with USF Juniors at VIR. Barker, again, in that number 12 machine out of Houston, Texas, starting in 10th. Alongside him, Jeremy Fairburn, the driver we were following in a big way in race number 2. Fell all the way to the tail of the field, having gone off the racetrack in turn number 1. Scrapped his way back up all the way through. Did a tremendous job for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. He will start in 9th position. Row 4, we'll see Ethan Ho out of Los Angeles, California, in the DC Autosport number 71 on the outside. And on the inside from Brazil, it'll be the 28 of Lucas Fakuri for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. Further up the field, starting in that third row, that's the number 23, pulling off the pit lane right now as the pace car has left. That will be Andre Castro, former Team USA scholarship winner and running for International Motorsports, coming into the weekend P5 in points. He's had some pretty good results on the day. And again, Castro in that 23, starting in the 6th position outside of row 3, alongside his teammate making his USF Juniors debut here this weekend, Giorgio Carrera, a veteran of F4 competition, ran in 17, 18, and 19, I believe. Running in the Italian F4 program, the Argentinian making his debut, as I said, here on American soil with USF Juniors. Row number 2, we'll see the 2 VRD drivers. Nikita Johnson starting on the outside out of Florida, and on the inside, fellow Floridian Alessandro DeTullio in the number 20. DeTullio coming in P2 in the points. A victory here in race number 2 to add to the 3 that he won at Virginia International Raceway. 4 wins on the season for DeTullio, although he still chases Matt Clark in the championship battle. Front row, 2 drivers who have won on the season as well. Sam Corey winning the front end of the triple header here at Mid-Ohio. Corey out of Cornelius, North Carolina for VRD. The 14-year-old on the outside of the front row, and again, he will scrap for what could be his second win of the season. Finished 4th in race number 2. And again, the driver up front who has such a strong season so far this year. 4 wins to start the season. 4th and 10th and 2nd at VIR. So another podium at VIR, 5 in total coming into the weekend. But 2 here at Mid-Ohio. 2nd in both the races. First to Sam Corey, then to Alessandro DeTullio. Led through the mid part of the race, only a safety car, probably stealing victories away from him, giving the drivers behind him a chance to attack on the restart. Matt Clark out of Campbellville, Ontario, Canada for D-Force Racing, the point leader. Coming into the final race of the triple header. Again, a gorgeous day here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series drivers will be on track here this afternoon. Time to go racing, though, for USF Juniors to wrap up what should be a tremendous battle. This is going to be a fun one. And again, from here, just 2 more weekends to go. Triple header at Road America, triple header at the Circuit of the Americas. Again, we say hello to those of you tuning into the app or on the USF Juniors YouTube channel. Hope you enjoy this late morning run to cap off our weekend here at Mid-Ohio. Field out of the carousel. Clark and Corey on the front row. They'll work their way to turn number 13, and green, green, green. Strong start for Matt Clark as he'll lead them down into turn number 1. I think DeTullio got a good jump on Corey as well. DeTullio, I think, from P3, working his way up into 2nd. So a really strong start there. It was the big launch there for Clark that allowed DeTullio to get a jump as well on his teammate Corey. They'll work their way down in to the keyhole for the first time, the legendary corner here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We don't run the actual key part of the keyhole, but just the big sweeping right-hander, downhill, off-camber. Very challenging corner, but very crucial to good speed. Looks to me like Clark's going to be able to defend on the opening lap down to turn number 4. That would really be the primary passing opportunity on the opening circuit. One driver slow at the tail of the field you see coming through the kink. They'll work their way out of that corner now into turn number 5. This is 5 and 6. 5 over the hill, down back to 6th. And again, the VRD drivers, as they have all weekend, lining up 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Right behind them, both of the drivers of the 3 for International Motorsports. That'll be Carrera and Castro in the 5th and 6th spots. Ooh, a little bit of side-by-side running over turn number 9. That's Ethan Ho. He's scrapping it out, I think might have been with Fairburn. Yeah, Fairburn on the outside, but coming up, he'll have the inside of the carousel. Let's see how this looks. Someone's got to give up the spot, and Fairburn wisely pulls out of it. Look at the fight further back. Alan Isambar trying to follow Fairburn through. So Maxwell trying to figure out which driver had the issue on the opening lap, was slow behind the field. Clark, Corey, DeTulio, and Johnson, top 4 across the line. But as I said, the 2 International Motorsports drivers, Andre Castro and Giorgio Carrera, there as well. Drivers dropped the wheel. Someone having some trouble. Matty Oust in the number 37 into pit lane. There's contact there between Elliot Cox going at it, I believe, further down the field with, I think, Maxwell Jamieson. So again, working their way to the second lap. Some aggressive races further back. A couple drivers into pit lane. Having a quick look in pit lane here now. Looks potentially like the 19 of Jake Bonilla might be into pit lane. The 37 of Oust and the 12 of Ethan Barker. 3 drivers already into pit lane on the opening circuit. So we've lost Oust, Barker, and I believe Bonilla. Everybody else settling in for a 20-lapper here in USF Juniors. Great shot here coming out of turn number 9. This is the drop into the Thunder Valley section of the racetrack. They'll climb after to the bottom all the way back up through turn number 10, hug the right side of the racetrack up against the red Armco, and then back up over a blind left-hander that leads into the carousel. Not an easy corner at all. You really have to trust your turn in, your speed, to be able to make sure you don't overshoot the exit point. There are exit curbs on the outside of that corner, and we've seen many drivers drop a wheel here and there. So lap 2 in the books, just getting things underway. I believe Barker able to refire and get underway. Here's a move to the inside, potentially for the second spot. They'll side by side. DeTulio trying to get to the inside of Corey. Sam Corey able to go back to second, and Corey's going to go 4 wheels off. Corey off 4 wheels. He's going to lose at least 1 spot, probably 2, to the International Motorsports driver. So Corey, he and his teammate DeTulio were side by side coming down through the off-camber corner, and that's going to hurt Corey, I believe. I think that was Sam Corey who went off track, not DeTulio. I believe DeTulio was making the aggressive move to the inside. Not what you want to do when your team members coming into that corner, and this is going to allow Clark to get out to a bit of an advantage. And indeed, DeTulio into the second. Where does Corey end up? Coming across the line. This is through turn number 9 again. Matt Clark probably with about maybe 3 or 4 tenths of a second now. There's the 2 International Motorsports cars. And there's Sam Corey. Yeah, there's Corey in the 14. He's now got Isambard. So move him into the 6th spot. Corey runs 6th. Isambard 7th. So from 2nd all the way back to 6th with the contact with his teammate, put him off on the outside of turn number 2. And again, that's the corner that leads onto the longest straight in the racetrack. So if you have trouble coming through turn number 2, you lose so much by the time you get down to turn 4. 4 spots in total for Sam Corey. Isambard 7th, Ethan Ho 8th. Make that Elliot Cox up to 8th, Ethan Ho in 9th, and Lucas Facuri running in the 10th position for Crosslink Kiwi. We got some great racing further back here as the drivers really going at it. It's been fun to watch. Jeremy Fairburn was up in the top 10, as we know, running 7th, but he's been shuffled back. Fairburn's got back to 11th place again, so a little bit of argy-bargy here in race 3. And I guess we shouldn't be really overly surprised. Everybody coming into this race with a different mindset. If you've really had a rough one in race 1 and race 2, you might have that send it mentality, right? I'm going to go out there and just throw it all on the table to see what I can do to cap off this triple header. Where if you've had good races like Matt Clark, you're settling in saying, hey, listen, I'll try to win this race, but second, third, I'll take whatever I can. We do have a full course yellow, so the lead that was almost a full second for Matt Clark. Once again, full course yellow has eliminated the advantage that Clark able to develop early. A driver off the racetrack. Turn number 12, we're being told. Oh, car 12. Car 12 has gone off. The 12 of Ethan Barker, who had gone on track and off into pit lane and back on the racetrack, has had an issue. So it's the end of the back straightaway for Ethan Barker, him going off the racetrack in turn 4. And that will slow everybody here right now. The AMR IndyCar safety crew, along with the Mid-Ohio safety team, will head out to turn 4 to find out what's going on with Ethan Barker. The one part of the racetrack where we actually don't have one of our lockdown cameras for you, so hard to figure out exactly what's going on in turn number 4. But indeed, the issue for Ethan Barker in that number 12. Clark, your leader. Tulio second. Johnson third. Castro and Carrara in fourth and fifth. Sam Corey sixth. This will give Corey an opportunity to go back on the attack as well. Elliot Cox up into seventh. Alan Isambard in eighth. Ethan Ho in ninth, and Jeremy Fairburn able to get one spot. Fairburn, as I said, had worked his way up into the top seven. But again, an issue for him, knocking him further back. Maddie Oust back onto the racetrack in the number 37. Again, looking to get as many laps as she possibly can. So drivers in behind the pace car now. Pace car being wheeled this weekend by USF 2000 driver Trey Burke, who will also be running for Young's Motorsport in the truck race this afternoon. Season and a half of USF 2000 racing for Trey Burke, driver out of Texas, who obviously a lot of experience on the dirt, sprint cars, midgets, whatever it may be. Actually, not midgets. I think he just ran sprint cars. 310 sprinters, 410 sprint cars, junior sprint cars when he first was coming through the ranks. Really get an opportunity to pick up the road course racing. It's been fun to watch Trey develop over the last couple of years, and be fun to watch him this weekend here in the truck series as well. Pace car remains on the racetrack in front of Mac Clark, and the pace car has not been a friend to Mac over the last two races. He's had significant advantages on the racetrack in the second half of the races, both race one and race two, seeing those advantages disappear with a full course yellow. And on both those occasions, driver able to get by. Race one, it was Sam Corey sliding through to get his first race win, and a two-lap dash in race number two earlier today. Alessandro DiTullio slipping through. So Clark has been the fastest driver. He's qualified on the pole for all three races. He's led the most laps in both races as well. Just those late race cautions robbing what could have been victories for Matt Clark. Still banging out the results you need. 3 straight second place finishes. He had 4 straight race wins to start the season, Matt Clark, the Canadian. 4th and 10th in the first 2 races at VIR, then backed it up with a second. Came back with P2 in race number 3 at VIR. But then Mid-Ohio here, he's got second in race 1, second in race 2. So 3 straight runner-up finishes, padding that point total. So we will be going racing this next time by, I'm being told. So indeed, back to it, just a couple laps under the yellow here. Excellent job for the Mid-Ohio safety team, and of course working with members of the AMR IndyCar safety crew that we bring with us to all of our USF Juniors events. One of the additions to USF Juniors. The focus, of course, on getting these drivers maximum green flag racing. That's one of the differentiators here with USF Juniors, and the, again, concept of having, the investment of having the AMR IndyCar safety guys here. We have three reps from IndyCar with us here, one in the race control, 2 others on the racetrack to work with the track team. Best of the business, as we all know, the AMR IndyCar safety team. Thrilled to have them as a core partner and component of the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. 6 laps will go in the books when they come back around to get the green flag, so still a lot of racing to go. Clark, DiTullio, Johnson, Castro, and Carrera. Top 5. The International Motorsports drivers looking to fight in there, and right behind them, Sam Corey and Elliot Cox. Pace car into pit lane. Clark stepping it up, spooling it up, and away we go. Back to green flag racing. Clark with a decent advantage. Corey gets a good run here on Carrera as well. We may see a challenge potentially in turn 2 for P5. Yeah, Corey. Then side by side further back is Isambard and Cox. Everybody through turn 1 cleanly. Here's Carrera, going to dive to the inside to potentially try to defend. That was actually Castro defending from his teammate. Oh, how about 2 wide further back? Oh, Lucas Facuri wide on the entry into turn number 2, and that pushes his teammate Titus Sherlock wide, coming into the corner as well. See over on the right side of the racetrack, that I believe one of our other cars coming through, that might be Jake Bonilla back out onto the track. So indeed, drivers getting out here, getting as much seat time as possible. 6 drivers essentially your lead group. Then the side-by-side battle. Look at this scrap. Elliot Cox trying to see if he can't find his way by. Oh, almost some contact there. Cox getting through. Isambard got to the middle of the corner and picked up a ton of understeer. It looked to me like contact was imminent, but no, both those drivers somehow able to escape from turn number 6 cleanly. So move Cox, who fell down the order in the second half of the race of race number 2, move him up here now into 7th. Matt Clark with the lead. He had almost a full second before the yellow came out. 0.4 of a second this time by over to Tulio. Carrera's been able to get by Castro, so Carrera now up to 4th. Castro in 5th. Corey 6th. Cox 7th. Isambard 8th. Ho and Fairburn 9th and 10th. There's Corey looking to the inside of Castro. It's a full second from Isambard back to Ethan Ho. That's the gap there. Indeed, the 19 of Jake Bonilla now out there circulating, so let's get some more laps. And again, for the drivers here in this program, you know, you're looking at Jake Bonilla. Did not do the early career in karting like is traditional for so many young drivers, but instead, you know, jumped into the cars here, and every time he's in the track, every time he's driving is the experience he needs to take him forward. And that's the key for Bonilla. Even though you had an issue at the start of the race, get back out there, pound down laps, and it's a track that the rubber's starting to go down on. You have to feel what it's like running Mid-Ohio in different temperatures and different track conditions. So a good opportunity for Jake to continue to bang out laps here. 4 drivers pulling away out front as Clark, DeTulio, Johnson, and Carrera have separated from Castro, Corey, Cox, and Isambard. Yeah, you can see 4 drivers up front, and then the next 4. And then you've got Ethan Ho 9th and Jeremy Fairburn in 10th. Through turn 1. Still closing in on the halfway point of this. Matt Clark now at 0.6 of a second, able to pull 0.2 on DeTulio with the fast lap of the race so far, a 1:28.402. And again, look at the scrap further back here. Corey trying to find a way by. The man on the move right now is Elliot Cox. Cox able to get by Alan Isambard. He's side by side with Corey now. Watch this further back right here. Boom. Cox on the inside, Corey on the outside. They're looking to try to get by Castro. So Elliot Cox putting his head down, trying to work forward. He's got the inside run down into turn number 4. There it is, out of turn number 5. And does he get the job done? I think he does. Indeed. Cox now moving up into 6th. Elliot Cox, driver on the move now. In race number 2 was Jeremy Fairburn. This time it's Elliot Cox, the Indianapolis, Indiana driver on the move forward. Cox started further down in the field. He has scrabbled his way up front, and he's doing a great job. He's passed Ethan Ho, Alan Isambard, Sam Corey. Next up for Cox would be Andre Castro in the International Motorsports Ligier. Just one season for USF Juniors here in the inaugural program with the Ligier chassis. We'll move to the new Tatis JR23 next year. And I think, you know, what we saw at Silverstone last weekend in F2 and F1, the major incidents that the Halo kind of stepped up and was big. There's a pass to the inside. Oh, that is Corey trying to get back by Cox. Corey going to the inside, Cox to the outside. They'll be side by side. Corey looks like he's taking the spot back. But again, we saw the incidents in F1 and F2 where the Halo stepped up big and really saved likely the lives of both drivers involved. And to know that we're going next year with our USF Juniors program to a car with a Halo. We made the move this year, of course, with USF 2000 and Indy Pro 2000 with the update kits, the new tubs for the race cars. We'll see that again. That same tub in USF 2000 and Indy Pro with the Halo is what we'll use in the JR23. So really taking the level of safety up. This was a good transition for us to use the existing Ligier car. It's been around for 10 plus years. There's a lot of Ligiers out there, and a great way for us to kind of launch in with existing teams, drivers coming into USF Juniors, into the Road to Indy Anderson Promotions program. But next year, of course, the way we do things with a high level of safety, a high level of excellence, and the expectation of what we want from all of our teams and drivers, The new car is going to be great. Another level of safety for all the racers who are developing their way into USF 2000. Clark's lead still 0.6 of a second at the halfway point of the race. 10 down, 10 to go. Nikita Johnson still has not got that victory. Johnson, though, a podium in race number 2, P3, and he needed that to get back where he wants to be. Corey's been able to get back around. So that right there, the battle there is 5th, 6th, and 7th. Castro, Corey, Cox, and Isambard, then almost a second back to Ethan Ho. Their top 4 stretching away. Carrera having trouble staying with them. How about side-by-side? Corey going to drive around the outside. This is the run down into turn number 4, and Corey gets it done. Before they even get in there, Corey threw the leaders up to turn 5. And I believe you'll see Sam Corey, indeed, able to get by. Further back, it's Ethan Ho. No, that is actually Isambard throwing it down the inside of Cox. There's Ethan Ho. He's been able to get away from Fairburn a little bit. Fairburn's got, I believe, Quinn Armstrong behind him. Fairburn and Armstrong going at it for 10th. Lucas Facuri and Titus Sherlock in there. Here's some side-by-side racing coming up out of Thunder Valley. That is a tough place to go 2x2, let me tell you that. And they get through cleanly. Nicely done. That's the drivers giving each other respect. And, man, isn't that nice to see here at a development level? Drivers given the respect that we hope to see out of them here in USF Juniors. That was Elliot Cox and Alan Isambard. Side-by-side coming up out of Thunder Valley through turn number 11. That could have been ugly, to be honest. Side-by-side there. Doesn't take much for a driver to get shoved off the outside of the racetrack in turn 11. Instead, both those drivers giving each other room, and this is a fantastic battle. That's the fight for 7th. So kudos to Isambard and Cox. 0.8 of a second now for Matt Clark, trying to pull away a bit. Nikita Johnson hoping to get in front of his teammate DeTulio. Johnson has not put a lot of pressure on DeTulio yet, hoping that both drivers can catch potentially back up to Matt Clark. Carrera trying to close as well. Last time by, 128.1 for essentially all the drivers. 128.1 Carrera, 128.1 for Johnson, 128 flat for DeTulio. How about a fast lap for Clark? 0.2 quicker, 127. 8.63, purple lap again for Matt Clark. And again, let's just do this. Let's start doing the math. Already qualified on pole. There's a bonus point. Has now led the most laps of the race as we're past the halfway point. He's led 11 laps. No one's going to be able to take that away from him. So another bonus point already. He has the fast lap in the books right now, trying to get a full brace of 33 points. That's the most points any USF juniors driver can get. 30 points for the win. Pole, most laps led, fast lap, 33 points. Big gap back from Carrera in 4th. Now to Sam Corey in 5th. Able to get by Andre Castro and is stretched away. Isambard 7th. So another really strong run here for International Motorsports. They run 4th, 6th, and 7th. Brand new team here on essentially pro-level racing, part of this development program for Road to Indy. Great to see them on this program. We're hoping to see them potentially move and add a USF 2000 component next year as well. But, man, they have really settled in as a strong team here in USF Juniors, the Florida-based International Motorsports. Leader through turn number 7. This is the 6-7 combination. You'll see them coming through. You miss turn 8, then turn number 9. They drop back into Thunder Valley. Very precarious corner. Cars get super light, rotating almost automatically as they get over the corner and back onto the throttle. See what kind of a battle we have further back. Really nothing formulating here. The top 4. There's 5th, clean, Corey. 6th and 7th of the 2 International Motorsports drivers. Corey, Isambard and Castro. Back across the line to complete lap number 13. Castro and Isambard, as I said, running in 6th and 7th. Ethan Ho has been able to get by Elliot Cox. So again, Cox, who was battling up there for potentially 6th, has fallen back into 9th now. So Ethan Ho up to 9th. Ho 8th. Cox 9th. Fairburn in 10th. Armstrong 11th. Sherlock in 12th, Fakuri in 13th, Maxwell Jameson 14th, Madison Oust, Jake Bonilla, Ethan Barker. I don't know that Earl Tucker started. I know he had an issue potentially in the first race, so that maybe Tucker out and not able to start. Not sure what happened there with the DC Autosport driver, but nonetheless, Tucker will focus forward now on the event at the end of July at Road America. That's going to be a great race for the drivers here in USF Junior. Sadly, I won't be able to be at that event. I have a conflict with a SuperKarts USA Pro Tour race, and of course that series where we'll see the future stars of this USF Juniors program. Clark, Johnson, DeTulio, Carrera, Corey, the top five, and the lead for Clark now 1.2 seconds. He has shown good pace in the second half of every race here this weekend. He's been able to get more speed, and kind of pull away at the end. It was only the late race cautions that have hurt him. 14 laps down, 6 to go. 6 laps remaining to cap off the triple header here from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. This 2.258, 13-turn racetrack, legendary facility. IndyCar, IMSA, NASCAR, SCCA runoffs, you name it, it's been here. Good scrap there between the two drivers from International Motorsports. Andre Castro in 6th and Alan Isambard in 7th. Again, you know they're not going to want to throw away good finishes here for the team. VRD Racing really lining themselves up to essentially take full control of the team championship within the USF Juniors program. Again, coming into the weekend, their drivers 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the points. And then again, just adding to it, we've got a couple of podiums, including a win for DeTulio, a couple of podiums, or a podium for Johnson, a podium and a win for Sam Corey. So they're really adding up the points. But International Motorsports, they may be able to fight themselves into a second-place run. And it really, with the results they've been able to get from both Castro and Isambard, and you throw in Carrera now, International Motorsports could find themselves P2 in the championship battle for the teams. Clark's lead coming across the line for lap number 14, or will actually be 15 now in the books. Indeed, lap 15 going in the books, 1.2 seconds, 5 laps remaining for Clark. Lead group, you can see it's developed that kind of gap of a half a second to a second between all the drivers. Sam Corey all by himself back in P5. Here come your drivers in 6th and 7th. There's 8th right there, Ethan Ho. 9th, Jeremy Fairburn. 10th, 11th, and 12th, nose to tail right now. Quinn Armstrong, Elliot Cox, and Titus Sherlock. So that was a good battle there. 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's probably the best fight on the racetrack right now. They're side by side. That's Sherlock to the inside of Cox. So Titus Sherlock trying to work his way into 11th. We'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. We'll pick them up when they come out of turn number 4. See whether or not the job got done there. Not sure if he was able to get by. We'll see when he comes back up the hill. Indeed, yeah, there's Sherlock there. That yellow wing, easier to pick up. Sherlock moving into 11th. Cox back into 12th. Quinn Armstrong up to 10th. Another top 10 potentially here for Quinn Armstrong. He got 2 of them at VIR, and I think already 2 of them on the weekend here, so it could be 3 top 10s for Quinn Armstrong. The Australian driver making his debut here in USF Juniors. Back at VIR. Blue skies with a bit of cloud here in Lexington, Ohio. Again, we'll be wrapped up here on a Saturday. Not normally these schedules we would normally have as part of the Road to Indy or USF Juniors. Normally running, on the Friday, Saturday, Sundays. But of course, with the Truck Series capping things off this afternoon here, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Saturday, the final day of competition. Four laps to go. Nikita Johnson has gone to 2nd. Let's pick this up right now. Nikita Johnson able to get by Alessandro DeTulio, and he has gone to P2. Can he reel in Matt Clark? Indeed, Johnson up into 2nd. Fast lap of the race last time by a 1:27.8. Same lap time, maybe a 10th to Matt Clark. Can Nikita Johnson find that little bit more to get his first win of the year? We will look at the gap. Johnson stepping things up over here in the final couple of circuits. Driver potentially off in turn number 4. We're hearing from race control. Clark working his way out of turn number 13. The gap was 1.2 last time by. Johnson trying to close up. What is it now for lap number 17? Clark and Johnson 1 and 2. That is down to 0.8 of a second. Johnson most definitely closing here on Clark. Goes quicker again. Clark's got to get back down to those 127 laps because Johnson's coming. Nikita going to get close enough for the draft here pretty soon. We have got ourselves a potential fight as Nikita Johnson turning it up. Johnson scoring his first podium in race number 2 since race 1 at VIR. Coming off a strong top 5 finish in USF 2000 here at Mid-Ohio last weekend with VRD Racing. That team will have new Tatis JR23s for USF Juniors, and we're going to see expanded team for Dan Mitchell's VRD program in USF 2000 next year. And this kid here, Nikita Johnson, just 14 years of age, he's going to be one of the drivers I expect in USF because he is coming on strong. What's the gap here? He's closing. Clark's got to put the laps down here now. Up out of Thunder Valley. It's still DeTulio third. Carrera closing on third spot. Carrera is significantly closing. Big time on DeTulio. We could get a fight for P3 here as well. Look how close Carrera is. He was 7/10 quicker than DeTulio last time by. The gap 0.890 on lap number 17. Lap 18. What has Clark done? 8.16, so he maintains it. Carrera and DeTulio 128 threes. Johnson quicker than Clark, but not enough. There's your gap coming out of the keyhole. Larger gap back to Carrera. Corey 5th, Isambard 6th. Ho, Fairburn, Quinn, and Sherlock now in the top 10. Andre Castro, who was 6th, has fallen back. Not sure what happened to Castro. He's all the way back into 12th. So did Castro have contact with his teammate? Did he drive off? Was he the driver potentially had trouble in 4? I don't know. Johnson most definitely closer to Clark. White flag will fly this next time by. It'll be 1 to go. And both Carrera and Johnson looking to fight for positions before it's all said and done. Look how close Nikita Johnson is coming up out of Thunder Valley. He is down to maybe 4 car lengths. Remember, Nikita has not yet won here in USF Juniors competition. The hunger is there. We saw his teammate Sam Corey get it. He's right on him now. Out of the final corner, white flag flying. And it's maybe 2 car lengths coming down into turn number 1. Clark has got to dig in here. His primary championship rival behind him, Alessandro DeTulio. He doesn't need to win this race, but he's going to block to the bottom. He'll run the defensive line to the bottom of the racetrack. Johnson's going to go wide. He'll try the outside line. Try to get a better run coming down into turn number 4. Carrera closing on DeTulio as well. Nikita Johnson looking for his first win. Clark wants the victory. They'll work their way down the back straightaway now. Johnson's going to go to the outside. Johnson moving to the outside of turn number 4. Can he get it done? Out of 4, over to turn 5. Here they come. Will they be side by side still coming out of the corner? Clark still has the position. He'll run the outside line coming down the hill. Johnson thinking about going to the bottom, trying the over-under. Bit of contact into there as well. Look how close Carrera is to DeTulio. This is wild. What a finish. Final lap for USF Juniors, battles for P1 and P3. Clark wants this victory. Has not won since Barber Motorsports Park. And they're going to potentially go side by side. Look at this. Johnson throwing everything at Clark. Over into the carousel. Coming into the final corner. Does Clark hold him off? I believe he will. It's his first victory since Barber Motorsports Park. And Matt Clark winning at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, race number 3. But not without a significant challenge from Nikita Johnson. Here's the fight further back as well here for 8th on back. Look at this scrap. That is another top 10 for Jeremy Fairburn over Quinn Armstrong, Titus Sherlock, and Elliot Cox. Wow. We took us 20 laps, but we fired up the oven there. It got exciting on the final circuit. Nikita Johnson, fast lap of the race on lap 16, a 127.843, bottom onto the gearbox of Matt Clark. The margin at the line just 0.2 of a second. Nikita threw everything at him and give it to Nikita. Wasn't able to get the job done in 2 and 4. Those are the real places to pass. Anything else, unless you dive it into 6, after that, you're risking a potential wreck, right? An incident, something that could happen. Otherwise, Nikita Johnson showing great racecraft there. Matt Clark coming home with his 5th win of the season, back on the top of the box. Nikita Johnson second. Alessandro Di Tullio on the podium once again. So there's your top 3. Giorgio Carrera, best finish of the weekend, P4 for International Motorsports. Sam Corey, P5. Alan Isambard in 6th. Fairburn works his way from 10th up into 7th. Ethan Ho in 8th. Another top 10 for Quinn Armstrong. And Titus Sherlock, after a really tough weekend, able to bounce back for P10. Drivers working their way on the cool-down lap, and of course, 3 drivers will walk their way to the podium. Only one, though, will drive the car in to victory lane. That'll be the D-Force number 17 to Matt Clark. We'll go there now. Don't go anywhere, folks. When we come back from this break, victory lane here for USF Juniors.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper! It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper Enduro Maxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Going out.
these drivers are the ones you're going to see that are going to find their way to the NTT IndyCar Series. That's what this program's all about, developing these young drivers for the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship, the first rung of the road to Indy. 3 incredible young drivers doing a great job out there today, so let's bring them up here on the podium. Finishing in third spot today for VRD Racing, Alessandra De Tullio. And to present Alessandro with his third place trophy, John Roberts, one of our guests from Cooper Tires. And again, great to have all the guests from Cooper and Goodyear here this weekend. John, hop right up on their podium right there with him. There we go, get a shot with Alessandro. Alessandro De Tullio, a win in race number 2, ends up finishing P3 here today. We'll move to the driver coming in second. This is the guy that made it super exciting, was able to go to P2, reeled in the leader, and then put a ton of pressure on. Not quite enough to get the win, but this was a young driver to watch and a name to remember, folks. Coming in second place today for VRD Racing, Nikita Johnson. Great job for Nikita, back-to-back podiums on the day. And to present him with his trophy, again, one of our guests from Cooper Tires, Shelby Norval. Hop right up there, Shelby, on that podium and have a picture taken here with Nikita Johnson. This has been a really fun championship to watch. 3 different winners on the weekend here. We had weekend sweeps before that. The driver who we're going to bring up here right now won the first 4 races, but he has not been on top of the box in the last 5. Big for him to come back, folks. The winner today for D-Force Racing. A round of applause for Matt Clark. I'll tell you, Mac, that was a big one to win. I know you came out of the gate super strong. These guys came back at you and scored a bunch of wins, but to be able to get a victory here, I think good for momentum for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Moving forward, it's nice to have that points cushion, and I think that restart there, that second restart, that was kind of the defining factor in this race. Managed to pull a little gap on Ale and Nikita, and after that, just kind of settled in and hit my marks.
Tell me about the last lap there, though. Nikita Johnson was coming up big. He was on the gearbox. Did you know he was there?
I knew he was coming. I knew he was pushing hard, so I was pushing hard too and doing consistent 21 flat, 21 flat, 21 flat, and I started to lose the rear tire a bit at the end of the race, but I mean, keeping Nikita behind was definitely the goal.
How important is it to get this win to start that momentum to the final couple of races of the season?
It feels good, like you said. I mean, I haven't been top of the box in about 5 races, so to have that victory going into the last 2 rounds with a nice points lead, it's definitely comforting for myself and the team.
Who do you want to thank?
Big thank you to D-Force Racing for the super fast car. I'd also like to thank Valkyrie AI. They're our title sponsor this year. We wouldn't be here without them. MIR Race on USA, Neck Down Gear, and all my friends and family back home, especially my dad who's standing right there taking a big video. Wouldn't be here without him.
P1, bud, get up on top of the podium. Matt Clark again, folks, with the win. Let's bring that trophy in for him. And to present the trophy, we have Marshall and Lincoln Edgerton to help us out here. Some brand new race fans, courtesy of Cooper Tires. Come on in, guys. We'll get Marshall and Lincoln up on top of the podium. Get them to stand right up on top there. Perfect. Again, brand new race fans here, part of the action. Again, Matt Clark, one of the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series, along with Nikita and Alessandro. This is where IndyCar starts right here, folks, at USF Juniors, presented by Cooper Tires. Great for those of you who have come out here to enjoy some NASCAR Camping World Truck Series action. Get a look at the future stars of open wheel racing as well. The Junior Formula Car program. We'll see these drivers work their way up into USF 2000 next year, and from there, the ladder all the way into Indy Pro 2000, Indy Lights, and potentially NTT IndyCar Series. And these young drivers, those of you who have come here to enjoy the day, a beautiful sunny day here at Mid-Ohio, the champion will win a scholarship worth over $220,000 to move up into that USF 2000 program. That's what this Road to Indy program is all about, the scholarship program that allows these kids that don't have the opportunity potentially financially to be able to work their way up the ladder. That's what this gives them. Kyle Kirkwood, who races for AJ Foyt Racing, would not have got a chance to get the IndyCar if it were not for the scholarships. He won all 3 series. He won USF 2000, he won Indy Pro 2000, and he won Indy Lights as well. And I'll tell you this, Kyle Kirkwood, a generational talent. This is going to be a racer in IndyCar that you're going to talk about for the next 2 decades. He'll be running for Andretti Autosport next year, Kyle Kirkwood. And again, this is where they start. They all start in these particular cars, at this particular horsepower level. So this is the future of IndyCar and the Indianapolis 500 on display for you here this beautiful Saturday in Ohio. 3 races all total on the weekend, and for the first time this year, 3 different winners. We had sweeps, as I said. Matt Clark sweeping the doubleheader at Ozarks International Raceway, and then going on to another week later, sweeping at Barber Motorsports Park. Alessandro DeTullio swept the action at Virginia International Raceway, but 3 different winners on the weekend here. Sam Corey, Alessandro DeTullio, and Matt Clark all standing on top of the podium to receive a P1 trophy. All that's left after this is to bring out the sparkling cider. No champagne for our kids, anywhere between 14 years of age. We got a couple drivers over 20, but most of them anywhere between 14 and 19. So no champagne for these guys. They'll have the sparkling cider instead. All right, it's there, guys. Enjoy. Have the celebration here, folks. Again, capping off what's been a great weekend here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the USF Juniors, presented by Cooper Tires. Matt Clark, the winner today, extending the point lead as we head to the iconic Road America at the end of July. 3 races there before we cap the season and award over $220,000 worth of scholarship to the champion at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Thank you so much for tuning in live here on the USF Juniors app and on the USF Juniors YouTube channel. Always a pleasure to get a chance to be invited into John Fippin's PA booth there in the Cooper Tire Tower. John, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And again, on behalf of everyone tuning in live right now and those here at Anderson Promotions and USF Juniors, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.